Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, back from my wedding week. Thank you so much to everybody that sent me the well wishes, congrats, and I got a black ring for the nation. So we're going to be breaking down today some of the good news that I thought that the Raiders got today from mandatory minicamp, and then at the very, very end of today's show, I'll just give you some of the notes that I received from practice. I'll also discuss how the AFC West did get a little bit better from a certain signing. First, though, I want to talk about Kolton Miller, who did end up speaking to the media today, but he was at minicamp. Yes, Miller was looking for a new contract. Yes, Miller wants to be a Raider for life. He said that today. But also, the fact that not only Miller was there, also Jakobi Meyers was there. And I think one of the number one stories that kind of is going around right now, how we were having a debate at Chat Sports of, you're not showing up to mandatory minicamp, are you holding out? I would say yes, that there's a lot of, big-time notable NFL players looking for these contracts that are sitting out mandatory minicamp. But you know what the Raiders are doing? And I think it really just speaks volumes of the type of leaders, the type of players, the type of men that Jakobi Meyers and Kolton Miller are, where they're going, you know what? If we're going to do this the right way, and if we're going to practice what we preach, let's go out there on the field and let's make the Raiders want to give us a contract extension instead of sitting back going, hey, I deserve X, Y, Z. I love what Jakobi and I love what Kolton Miller are doing because I think it sets the tone for the rookies and it sets the tone for all the players coming in and being a part of this organization. And it's a lot more than, I think, a normal NFL team. They're trying to build something special here. So some other notable players that are just skipping minicamp, right? Like we've seen Terry McLaurin, the TJ Watt stories, Trey Hendrickson, hell, the rookie also from Cincinnati, kind of threw Shamar Stewart, kind of honestly threw Hendrickson under the bus a little bit today. Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith from the Miami Dolphins, and I am just so flippin' proud, and I mean that, man, because this is just another one of those minor details, but I think, if you're watching in June, you're looking for those minor details that convince you that we're moving in the right direction, and the fact that the Raiders had 100% participation today, minus one guy, shows me yet again this organization is moving in the right direction, and as far as I'm concerned, that's some damn good news. Now, reminder, I want you to hit that subscribe button. We're going to be providing Raiders minicamp news all week long. The Silver and Black practice today. They practice tomorrow, and then they also do go ahead and they practice on Thursday. Just friendly reminder that last season, Antonio Pierce did give the Raiders that final minicamp practice day off. I don't know if that'll happen again this season. I'm hoping that it doesn't because I think that this is a team that needs as much practice as humanly possible. Now, I did mention one person did not practice today, and that was Christian Wilkins, which shouldn't surprise you from what it sounds like right now. And I talked about this before I left last week for my wedding, was that it sounds like Wilkins will be out until training camp. And it kind of gives the Raiders some time to figure it out. Kind of gives Wilkins a little bit of time here to figure it out. There's no doubt a little bit of there's an issue going on here with this Jones fracture. I would like to be able to get more information on it. I just don't think that we're honestly going to get any more information on it. One person who obviously did practice today, if Wilkins was the only one out, was Adam Butler. And this was definitely a name that I was really looking forward today, simply just because he missed the final two practice of Raiders OTAs, which would have been, June 4th, June 5th. And, Butler, if Wilkins is out, Butler's our number 2 defensive tackle in my mind. The guy that the Raiders brought back. So really, really important that Butler was out there, and it's really, really important to me that every single other Raiders player was out there practicing today, and the fact that Wilkins was the only one, I think, again, it shows. If Miller and Jakobi and all those guys are going out there and they're doing it, and they were doing it when it wasn't mandatory. So when you see it being mandatory again, you kind of knew it was going to go in that direction. But huge, huge credit, man, to Pete Carroll, John Spytek, and this entire staff. Now, I do have a pinned comment here, and I just wanted to know, I thought it would be a fun question that I could ask you. What's your favorite Raiders memory? Your favorite Raiders memory of all time. If you're watching this live, let me know down below in the live comments. If you're not watching this live, well, hey, this is going to be the pinned comment. You're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, I want you to scroll on down, and I want you to give me an honest answer. Your favorite Raiders memory. My answer coming up here in just a moment. I've done a lot, and I mean a lot, of watch parties in my day. The watch party that I legitimately think that I enjoyed more than any was when the Raiders, that timeout by Derek Carr sealed the Chargers' fate. and we were going to the playoffs. I mean, that entire game from start to finish, also remembering how that game ended. Now, I could have also said the first time I went out to Oakland for the FAB game, the final game in Oakland, but I did this more from my standpoint, sitting up here on this show, and we've done a lot of legendary live shows, right? McDaniel's getting fired, Devontae Adams, 9-hour live stream. That day, off top of my head, I think this is the only live game that I ever been for where I was like literally tearing up because of how proud I was that the Raiders went to the playoffs. Coming up here, though, let's get into some more minicamp practice notes just from today in general. Again, you got a lot of 11-on-11s, a lot of 7-on-7s. Can't go full contact, but the guys are at least, able to go out there, able to compete. And Chip Kelly and Patrick Graham, man, oh man, are they throwing haymakers at practice, which you absolutely love to see. I'll get into some of these practice notes today in just a moment, but a huge shout out to our sponsor, Chubbies. And I love me some Chubbies, and I know you guys do too. Summer's here, which means it's officially time to let the dogs out. And by dogs, we mean your legs. If your pups have been stuck in jeans or sweats for the last few months, set them free with the Line Swim collection from Chubbies. Life's too short for uncomfortable swim trunks. So these babies are set up for all-day comfort with a quick dry stretch fabric and a built-in liner that actually does its job. No more chafing, no more soggy butt, no more mesh disasters. And Chubby's biggest sale of the year is on, which means $45 bottoms, both shorts and swim trunks, and up to 65% off select gear. It's the perfect time to donate your decade-old shorts and refresh your drawer. Give your legs the summer they deserve. And let's be real. No ad read is complete without a shout-out to the Classic Line swim trunks. They took everything annoying about old swimsuits, like that scratchy mesh liner, and replaced it with a soft, supportive boxer brief liner that keeps you dry, comfortable, and chafe-free. With a quick dry fabric, 4-way stretch, and great prints that bring the heat. Whether you're jumping in the ocean, napping on the beach chair, or someone ending up on a rooftop bar, these trunks have your back and your thighs. So don't wait for a limited time. Shop Chubby's biggest sale of the year for $45 shorts and up to 65% off select gear. Hit up chubbyshorts.com and grab your favorites before they are gone. Miss the sale? Don't sweat it. Use our exclusive code CHAT for 20% off. Support the show. Let them know that we sent you. And the survey asks, get ready to turn some heads. Summer's here. Dress like it in Chubby's. And, for somebody like me, I honestly do try to work out my legs a lot. I know I've had a knee surgery, so my legs aren't quite what they used to be. But I wore Chubbies, in all honesty, twice this week for my wedding, just because it was so stinking hot down here, and it would rain in the morning, and then it'd be nice in the afternoon. When I would take Chuck on a walk, I got to make sure that I don't have horrible ass sweat, especially in front of my friends and family during the wedding. So if you believe it's skies out, thighs out, go to chubbyshorts.com. Those links are going to be available to you all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. So let's go through some practice notes that I received today. One of the notes that I got was the linebacker room was, quote, flying today, just like really moving around the football field. And, I don't know about y'all, I kind of thought like, all right, could this linebacker room be a little bit more motivated because of all the rumors around Jermaine Pratt? Now, if you're watching this live, I'll talk about Pratt here in a little bit. If you're not watching this live, I will be putting out a Pratt video. My plan is maybe Thursday morning. Obviously, we'll see, depending on what some of the more reports come out. I did get word that the offense struggled in the red zone, so the Raiders very early on in the whole process of practice, offense against defense, really tried to just hone in on their red zone capabilities, and it sounds like the defense won that battle, which credit to the defense, credit to Patrick Graham, but I do really want to see the offense start to convert a little bit more in the red zone because, let's be honest, this has kind of been the Raiders' issue for as long as I can remember. Getting the ball into the red zone, not being able to convert. I want to see the team be able to do a better job. One of the notes that I got today on the defense, you can really see the versatility and you can really see the intensity, not only from the defensive line. I heard that the D-line brings it every day. That's what's going to happen when you get Mad Max linebacker room flying around today. But, how's that secondary going to look? How are these players going to look? And another guy that just continues to stand out is Jeremy Chin. They're using him as a linebacker. They're using him as a safety. I really think that you're looking at somebody that we could be talking about almost like a Marcus Epps. I think he's better than Marcus Epps, but the Raiders name Epps a captain in year one. And I think the mentality that Chin brings we mentioned Cam Chancellor before this offseason, before the draft, and one of the players that I really talked about, and I said the best bang for your buck safety the Raiders go out and get is Jeremy Chin. And he's really showing why that team tried to go out and they tried to get him. Let's also go to the next note that I got, which was the offense did get rolling at the end, which I think what you're seeing very early on in practice is you got one unit on defense that's kind of knows the system a little bit better with Patrick Graham. I don't know if it's as talented as the offensive side, but they just know each other a little bit more and they know the system they're running. Where Chip Kelly, is throwing out a lot of different stuff. Kolton Miller called it dynamic today, and I think that this offense is going to be very dynamic, and it did finally kind of get rolling at the end of practice. So I would still say, based on the people that I talked to, defense won today, but offense at least got going in the right direction a little bit later on. And then the last one is rookies are making an impact, dude. And I'm always going to try to continuously bring up rookies time and time again. And Dante Thornton Jr., there's a lot of smoke around this guy, and he freaking deserves it. From what it sounded like today, he beat two defenders. Geno threw an absolute dime, and he just, manhandled some people. Went down the field, made a touchdown catch, but he's starting to work with some of the ones. The fact that Dante Thornton Jr. is getting a legit run with the ones, I'll continuously say it. It reminds me very similar to when Max Crosby, when he was a fourth rounder, and everything we heard about him, it was just like, this kid's different. And right now it's starting to sound like Dante Thornton Jr. might be a little bit different. Another guy that had a good day today, from what I understood, is Jack Bech. And, Aiden O'Connell threw a beautiful touchdown throw to Bech today, which really helped, I think, get this offense moving for the silver and black. I would look at this as a few different ways. I could look at it as, based on what I was told, Dante Thornton Jr. was working a little bit with the ones today, and Thornton was getting some work, which you got to love to see. Bech catching a touchdown ball from Aiden O'Connell. Yes, Bech is working with the ones, but Bech is also obviously working with the number twos. Before we went live, Chugs looked at me and he's like, I wonder if Dante Thornton Jr. steals a little bit from Bech. And quite frankly, not that I don't want to say I hope that happens, but I kind of hope it happens, because if Thornton is going out there and he's taking playing time away from Bech, I think that just goes to show how much Thornton is looking really good, which obviously helps out this offense a lot. Other people that talked to the media today, the Raiders had 4 people speak to the media. First was Tom McMahon. Spoke a lot about Tommy a lot and how he just wants them to be fast. Don't think, go out there, be athletic. He's like, I can't teach speed, but I can at least correct the in-betweens. Did say that him living in Montana and his relationship with Malott got very much overblown. Said that he doesn't even really know him all that well. Also talked about how impressed he was with Darian Porter and how he had 999 special team snaps in college football, which was something that this organization really looked at. Daniel Carlson spoke, and, Carlson joked around a little bit. I would say the most notable thing that Carlson talked about, and when I say talked about, it was briefly discussed by Carlson, but the question got asked was what'd you do with the money that Ashton Genty gave you for number 2? And Carlson was like, I might, cars maybe. Really also, honestly, Carlson made it sound like that it was really also blown out of proportion how much money he received for getting that number 2 for Genty. Kolton Miller, he spoke to the media today, and, he's just a monster of a human being. Had a smile on his face, said he wanted to be a Raider for life. I think just really preached and predicated how different this rookie class is, but also, preached how important it is for him that, he wants to be the final Oakland Raider between, it's Carlson, Max, Kolton, and A.J. Cole, right? I believe those are the final 4, Oakland Raiders. But Kolton, I think, just shows it feels different. Pete Carroll's bringing this mentality, a lot of competition. And then the last guy that talked was Jakobi Bennett. And Bennett, the things that I heard from him, he's like, third year with a different head coach, DB coach, thought that, you face some extra challenges along the way. He did say this is the healthiest that he's been. He said it's the first time that both of his shoulders were healthy since playing in college football. He also kind of broke down that he said that there was games where he had his shoulder popped out 4 or 5 times in a game. He was dealing with a torn labrum. So the fact that Bennett feels that he's the healthiest, he also said that he is still the fastest corner on the Raiders, which I love that he said that, because a lot of speed in that room. But you could also tell it was a friendly, nah, I'm that guy. And if I'm Bennett, he's got to have that type of mentality. The last thing that I want to discuss here is J.K. Dobbins, former Chargers running back, former Ohio State back, former Ravens back, did sign a one-year deal with the Denver Broncos literally right before I was getting ready to do this show. Signed it for a one-year, $5.25 million deal overall. We'll see what ends up happening, but Denver was a team that was very focused on, getting that running game going. And I think when you see what the Chargers did, what the Broncos did, what the Raiders did, they're all following this blueprint of what Philadelphia did last season to Kansas City, and the teams that were able to beat the Chiefs and at least show the teams that gave a lot of trouble to Kansas City. Instead of trying to find a quarterback to go out there and sling it with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, I think they're trying to slow the game down, make it a lot more physical game, because sometimes physicality is going to win. And it showed that physicality can win, especially when you're going up against Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the Kansas City Chiefs, which is really, you can beat them, you can beat anybody. Before I end up hopping out of here, I do want to say one more time, thank you all so much for all the wedding wishes. It was amazing. I did have a few people being like, Mitch, you told me you were going to post some stuff on social media, and it's not that I haven't. It's Alex she basically gives me the okay on which pictures, I should post, which ones that I haven't. If you want all the videos, all the pictures, go give my wife a follow on Instagram. It's right up there on screen. If you just want to see some more wedding pics from this weekend, we'll be posting a whole bunch of stuff. But I figured it might be a little bit of an easier way if you do actually want to see some of the pictures and videos from this past weekend.